Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
It never dawned on me how much walking I used to do until I bought a house in the suburbs. Like when I'd say, I'm going for coffee, of course I was walking, but now it's like 3 miles and no latte's worth that. I find myself inviting people on walks with me like it's a scheduled activity. This morning, my neighbor asked me what I'm doing, and I actually said, I'm going for a walk with Nancy.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Hey everyone, welcome to Webcology on WMR.fm. It is the 9th of March, 2023. This is going to be a really fun show. We have the guys from SEOClarity in to talk about their release week, which was unfortunately a couple of weeks ago in the middle of the AI revolution. They released 5 new features on their enterprise SEO product. We're going to be talking about that for most of the show. So we're going to be getting to them. SEOs and content marketers, say goodbye to crazy spreadsheets, mass ups, and experience unprecedented connectivity between your SEO planning and reporting data. Introducing Audience Key, technology for keyword mapping, content brief automation, and rank tracking that from an SEO strategy system, providing unparalleled feedback loops between planning, reporting, and optimization activities. Put your time and energy into a strategy, not data upkeep. Visit audienckey.com to apply for a free trial today. Okay, and now the news. So you might have noticed a great deal of volatility in search results in the last couple of weeks, especially if you're a large e-com store with featuring product reviews. As of yesterday, the February 2023 product review algorithm update has ended. Done, kaput, run, finished, final. Any impressions, Kristine? What'd you think? Did you know anybody who got hurt by an update?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a lot of talk about it, so although I've been a little under the weather, so I could have missed it, but I know the past ones have been pretty impactful for people, but I haven't seen a lot of chatter on this one, so it may have happened early in the update, but not towards the end.
I got a large e-com site that has massive reviews run by a third party. Run through a third-party, organizer, aggregator, and again, this is a 150,000 SKU kind of e-merchant site. So they got hit by the product review update in the biggest way, and I think they got hit because of that third-party review management system, because Google seemed to be targeting off-site reviews. When Google figured out that these were legit reviews, they did meet they were good user-generated content, and they matched up with the products that they were supposed to match up with. It was like looking at a U-shaped curve, but they took a dive for like 6 or 7 days, and it was pretty scary.
That's right, because we did look at that one. I forgot that was part of this product review update, because that's the one where all the review stars went away from the search results except for Alibaba.
Yeah, that's
the product review update, I believe, did not hit China. Or am I correct?
It was in most European languages, definitely in the English speaking world, but it didn't seem to hit China. Yeah, so everybody lost all their review snippets, and the little stars and that appear under search results from like reviews. They're gone for everybody.
It was crazy. We searched multiple things around your client's products, and all pages showed only Alibaba with review stars.
So that's over. My client is on the upside of the U shape, but they really did experience a significant loss of traffic. Seem to have gotten over, like through the trough, but that was for real. Anyway, it's over, it's ended. And if you did see a major dip, that was probably because of a third-party system. That's where I would look if I were you. Yeah. So we should keep moving quickly. We got the guys waiting in the background. So this was ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter's had a couple of bad weeks, a few bad. Actually, it's had a few bad months, but I think it's not an exaggeration to say that this was quite possibly the worst week in Twitter's history. Not just since like Elon Musk took over, but in the history of the entire application. It went down twice, if I remember correctly. I mean, it locked itself out of its own API one day.
Mhm.
And then if I remember correctly, it was sporadically going up and down during the week. It had that, I don't even have the right word, disappointing, disgusting, horrid experience with Icelandic employee Haladur Thorleifsson, the fellow with multiple sclerosis who had actually
Muscle dystrophy.
oh sorry
No,
muscular dystrophy.
sclerosis. You're right.
Multiple sclerosis, who had actually sold his company to Twitter as a way to provide for his family in the long term as his disease works through his body. So he'd work stuff out with old Twitter. And then Musk comes along and just stomps all over this agreement, ridicules the dude in public when Thorleifsson has the gall to ask if he still works there or not.
Yeah, so he was cut off from his computer and he could not access anything. And so he tried for 9 or 10 days to reach HR and no one got back to him. And so he reached out on Twitter. I watched the exchange, just asked Musk if he still had a job and asked people to retweet it because maybe he could get a response. And then Musk accused him of not doing any work because of his disability. And he said all sorts of ugly, horrible things about him. When this guy is actually considered Person of the Year in Iceland, one of them, for using a bunch of that money that he got from the initial sale for adding accessibility ramps and other things for accessibility for people in wheelchairs.
Oh, really?
To businesses, to businesses
dude.
in his area. And so this isn't a guy that's like, there's no bad guy here, right? Except Musk, because Musk kept attacking him, revealed his disability, said he didn't do any work. That's what he heard. He never did anything. So the interesting thing though is Musk came back with a sort of apology. He heard wrong, whatever, because I'm just guessing his lawyers told him had they fired this guy, they owed him an instant $100 million because the reason that he was working at Twitter is he wanted to send more taxes back to Iceland to support his country or his area of the country. I don't know exactly how the taxes work there. And so that's why he had the job rolled into his agreement. But the agreement was also if he was ever fired, he'd get an instant payout of $100 million. Yeah. So Musk had a big turnaround when he found out he'd have to cash pay out $100 million, and there's no way around that.
Well,
So,
if he had an HR department that still existed, maybe he'd
Yeah.
have known not to do that, or maybe somebody would have said, "You don't reveal someone's disability on." But you've heard the new grift out there, eh? The new employment grift.
Yeah, the old one that's renewed, the old Radio Shack one.
Well, indeed, yeah. I mean, like,
That's
there
so
is
funny.
no HR department at Twitter. So if you got a gap in your resume, you were executive director of procurement at Twitter.
And see, so where this comes from is when Radio Shack was like kind of suddenly just like destroyed and stopped, working as a company. There was a period of time there where it still existed. So there were people at that time that would tell people when they had gaps in their employment and they worked at they worked as a bartender or something, that they actually worked at Radio Shack and they were a manager and there was no HR department to verify it.
Immediate salary bump.
Yeah, so there was a TikTok that went viral that said, hey, you could do that at Twitter right now because they apparently have no HR department, which is pretty true, which also just real quick is why Twitter went, not that, but why Twitter went down this week, because Musk fired all the engineers. There's one left that handles that rollout and he demanded that they start charging for the API. So the one poor guy who's responsible for this entire rollout and on the quick, fast that Musk always forces him to do, when he rolled it out, it took down not only Twitter, like couldn't share images wouldn't load, links wouldn't work. It did internally, it took down systems. And so Musk, instead of like saying, maybe I shouldn't have forced the one guy to do this super quick and have no team to back him up, got mad at the guy and furious. I don't know if the guy still has a job, but when people are out there thinking like, we can cut our whole team because look what Musk did, he has a lot of internal problems. You just don't necessarily notice when you use it sporadically, but trust me, cutting the whole team has not been a good thing.
No. Actually, I think the CEO of Salesforce was talking about following Musk's lead, but given some of the issues Salesforce is having, that would be a really, really, really bad idea. Lastly, Twitter cut a critical Tor connection that allowed activists in authoritarian nations to communicate with a couple of layers of safety between themselves and the forces of the state. That was shut down this week as and is considered a major blow to, say, like the Iranian women's movement. That may be an engineering issue, most likely an engineering issue, but that's another loss at Twitter. Okay, last story. This is a fun one. John Mueller confronts the age-old question: can a domain with a horrible history of spam ever rank again? Can it be a Phoenix? Well, what do you think? Can it? Can it?
Oh, I believe in the one he said that it would be hard to convince the search engine that something different and unrelated would basically bring it back. That it basically has a mark on it that's so bad that it would be difficult to recover.
So this is really important. There's an application called the Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine. And if you're looking for a domain, or you're thinking of purchasing a domain, research it, run it through the Wayback Machine, check it out, make sure that it hadn't been used to I don't know, sell midget porn or be a major spam factory or something. Just make sure you're not walking into something you really wouldn't have wanted to be a part of back then, because that may be attached to you in the present.
Yeah, because these domains do carry forward if they have severe issues like that. Those on the domain, it doesn't just all get wiped away when the domains drops.
The search engines don't forget. It's kind of built that way.
They do not.
You know what? I can't wait till we're actually covering Yahoo, a story like this that involves Yahoo, because it's coming soon, I promise. Yes. They promised to make search cool again. Okay, sitting in the waiting room, we have Mitul Ghandi, the chief architect and co-founder of SEOClarity. We have Mark Traphagen, vice president of product marketing and training at SEOClarity. They're here to talk about Release Week, and Release Week was a few weeks ago, but it was overshadowed by 101 stories of the AI revolution. What Mitul and Mark were doing, and the whole team did, was release a major feature every day of the week. 3 weeks ago, Mitul, Mark, welcome back to Webcology. You guys were here about a year ago talking about another rollout of features, but Release Week was rather spectacular.
Yeah, thanks for having us here, Jim. You're right. This was the first ever really organized Release Week from SEOClarity, and it blew past every expectation that we had. I don't know if you knew this, but at SEOClarity, we pride ourselves in the speed of development that we have. And we're actually releasing new features and products every 2 weeks in the platform. This was just the very first time that we made it public and took the effort to just organize all of the great information and insights and the reasons why we built this and packaged it into a week.
Well, Mark was out there in the SEO forums and SEO discussion groups teasing this for I don't know, weeks beforehand. Not actually saying anything, just saying, watch this space, something is coming. And I remember I wanted to have you guys on during Release Week, but again, the way the stories broke, it was just AI everything. But Mark, what were you teasing? What were the 5 major releases that SEOClarity rolled out?
Yeah, well, let me take a quick walk through them, and then obviously we want to talk about each one and why it's so important. But something that I want to emphasize why we did this is because, as Mitul said, the pace of innovation at SEOClarity, what we're turning out for our clients, and everything we do, always want to emphasize, is in response to our clients themselves. Like SEOClarity is a bootstrap platform. We're not beholden to any VCs, any investors. So our bosses are our clients, and we listen to them, enterprise SEOs, some of the biggest brands in the world, biggest sites. And what they're telling us, I wish I could do this. And we say, hold our chai tea. And if we can do it, if it's technologically feasible and it looks good for more than just a single person, then we do it. But it was just, we wanted to show that off, frankly. We wanted to say, this is happening all the time. We look at our competitors, and there's maybe 2 or 3 of these that come out a year. This is happening, like Mitul said, like on an average of every 2 weeks. We just wanted to kind of put it all together and say, like, here's 5 amazing things that you can't do anywhere else in the world. These are all world firsts that we're rolling out all in 1 week. So quickly, just the summary of it. The first one on Monday, we roll out traffic mix analysis, which is just a whole new comprehensive way to see all of your marketing channels in one place. Yeah, you can do that on analytics, but we're going to talk about why it is so much more incredibly powerful to bring that into a platform like SEOClarity. We're going to talk about true demand. That was Tuesday. True demand is the most accurate and up-to-date search volume available anywhere. And we'll talk about how we do that, how we get away from the trap of a Google Keyword Planner and the very increasingly limited data and old data that it provides.
That's horrible.
Kind of our flagship, we say, for Hump Day. Our hump was at the top, right? It wasn't a U shape. It was at the top of the hill. Is Clarity 360, which is, can't wait to talk about that. It's just the first, we call it the first SEO funnel view, talking about the entire health of your site, from what's actually known on your site through crawling, indexing, all the way to what's drawing traffic and what's converting. Being able to see that in one view and immediately identify where the roadblocks are. Moving on, Thursday was Link Optimizer. This is part of Clarity Automate that we came here to talk about last year. Our cloud implementation program, allowing you to put changes to your site instantly in the cloud. This feature is focused on internal links. And it does everything from helping you to decide what links you should be building inside your site, which are the best opportunities, to creating those links and putting them live, and then even keeping track of them so that you can track the performance of those. And last, and certainly not least, but we're very excited, this one is outside of our platform and available to the entire world. It's called Research Grid API. It's our first major open API, our first step toward giving complete access to all of the data, the huge amounts of data that we have, to literally anyone in the world. So that's the quick view, and we can go through each of those.
Okay,
That's
well,
awesome.
I guess we should start with traffic mix analysis. I remember reading about this and then thinking exactly as you said. I'm already doing this with clients. I prepare detailed analysis of all traffic sources out of Google Analytics, and how they work with each other, and how the assist flow. You get direct leads to the organic search, which leads to the next direct traffic. How does SEOClarity take all of that data, and then you can mix that 6 ways to Sunday and prepare something actionable?
Yeah, great question. So the challenge that our clients were coming and telling us, and what they were doing, a lot of clients were doing, was simply trying to explain where SEO stands in relation to all the other marketing channels. Now, every SEO platform is focused on SEO, and they do a really poor job, and we did a really poor job of being able to provide that view of outside of SEO, how to do all the other channels perform, and being able to look at the performance against it. So clients came to us, and either clients would take the data from SEOClarity and push it into a BI tool like Tableau or Looker Studio, or they were trying to manually stitch this together, where they were trying to look at pages that they had created for SEO and look at the performance of those pages in other channels, or pages they had in paid and look at the performance in SEO of those pages. And that's the challenge that we wanted to solve. So what we did was, and there's a massive amount of data, as you can imagine, that Google Analytics collects, and we're pulling in every single data point for every single channel into the platform. so that clients can use the same slicing, dicing, and analysis power that SEOClarity offers for SEO, but do that for every other single channel.
Is Google Analytics the only source of data for traffic mix?
No, not really. We can integrate with any analytics platform, Adobe Analytics and any others that clients may have. We started with Google Analytics, just given the ease of being able to scale this up for all of our clients quickly.
Okay, I asked that because having access to more than one data set is obviously more useful. The more
Right.
eyes on the question or problem, the better. But it's hard for it's often hard to mix these data sets and
Yeah.
not create goop.
Yeah.
One of the things that our clients find super valuable about this is that if they're in SEOClarity, they've set up, and our platform allows this very easily to set up all kinds of very sophisticated segmenting of their data and their ranking channels, their pages, their categories on their site, all these different things. We even do some of that dynamically for them on the fly. So as they produce changes, it's there in SEOClarity. And then they can come in and use those segments. I want to see what the performance of just this particular custom segment that I've set up. Click, there it is. You can't do that in Google Analytics, obviously.
Well, no, and indeed, in Google Analytics, you have to export to a spreadsheet and then do your mixing and matching in the spreadsheet, and then or you're using an API with some other set of tools, and again, it gets messy.
Yeah.
How intuitive is it? That's I think that would be my big question if I was at the massive corporate level.
Yeah.
I'd be asking, can most people in my marketing or SEO department work with this intuitively?
Faster and easier than either using Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics. This is exactly why we built it. Clients came to us telling us they loved how easy it was to get their SEO reporting from the platform, and they wanted to be able to give this power to other team members too, and be able to look at that data side by side and say, my SEO is growing X%. How much is my paid search growing? How much is my other channels growing? Is SEO growing faster than other channels? Are we lagging behind? What pages are we lagging behind on? And this is the power that we wanted to bring.
Let's roll over to True Demand, the keyword research and recommendation tool. This is a real problem for search marketers. I was asked by a client the other day what I would recommend in the that's just available for free. So naturally, I said go to Google Search Console. That'll tell you everything that people are currently using to find content. Then use Google Keyword Planner. That'll give you some sense of search volumes. But Keyword Planner just feels weird, flaky these days. Like the data from there is accurate, but it's spotty.
The problem is really bad, Jim. I know each of us individually as SEOs may be seeing a segment of an industry that we work with and seeing some problems with Keyword Planner. But if you look at it in totality, across the billions of keywords that we track, the problem is rapidly getting worse. SEOs will remember about 9-10 years ago, Google stopped showing exact match search volume and started grouping words together. It then progressively got that match broader and broader, where a single keyword represents a whole bunch of other words and the search volume of those other words in the background. The real problem, though, started 3 years ago when clients came to us and said that the most innocuous keywords were showing zero search volume. I don't know if you've come across this, Jim, but we had large enterprise clients coming to us and saying keywords like kids' jeans, Keyword Planner is showing as zero search volume. Who of us believes that the word kids' jeans could have zero search volume?
Mm-hmm.
No one, right? But that is exactly what Keyword Planner was returning. And this has been happening even longer in the pharmaceuticals and the prescription medicine kind of area for much longer. If you search for asbestos related keywords and so on, or keywords related to symptoms, there are a whole bunch of these that for no apparent reason, Google would not show the search demand around. And that was the problem. As SEOs, you need this data. You need the ability to see true demand to be able to determine where you're going to invest.
So,
and that's what true demand fixes.
So the obvious question, Google's not giving you this information readily. Where are you getting it from?
Great question. So some of these, features may look like we're just releasing them, but it takes a long time for us to prepare and plan and build up to these features. We've been hearing this problem with search volume for many years now, which is why 3.5 years ago, we started investing in collecting clickstream data. Today, we collect one of the largest clickstream data sets in the world, where we have over 6 billion keywords that people are directly searching into Google that we collect every month.
Wow.
6 billion keywords, of which 1 billion keywords we have never seen before, new, brand new, never been searched before that we come across. What this massive data set allows us to do, and we had to wait. We couldn't just release true demand, in production after just having a month or 2 months of data. We had to wait at least till we had 2 years of data trended to be able to analyze that and run statistical models and build the models that would predict and at a great level of accuracy what the actual true demand is. So we released it to our clients in beta a year ago, and then we just released this as production ready once we had 3 years of total data collected and a lot of confidence on our statistical models.
So using that clickstream data not only allows us to get a much more accurate picture by, again, statistically extending that out, but also a very fresh picture. I always love this example, even though it's a little dated. It's such a great example because when we first released this to our clients in beta, one of the things we picked up on was it was right when Lil Nas X went viral for something, and the rapper, and Nike came out with a shoe branded by him, a Lil Nas X shoe. And that was not, Lil Nas X shoe was not a thing anyone was searching for in the whole world before that week. Google Keyword Planner didn't pick that up for months. We showed it the week after it was there. So we can not only get better information, but the absolute freshest data. We see keywords right when they're coming live into the world.
I always love it when Google said X number of percentage of searches we've never encountered before, and Mitul, you just said the exact same thing. If there's 1 in 6 search queries you hadn't seen before, I have a hard time believing there's that much variation in how people ask for blue widgets.
It's incredible. Yeah, we were stunned ourselves because we've seen the same quotes from Google way back from 2011 and 12, saying that back then, and then they reiterated it in 2015 or 16 that they still saw 15% of their queries as completely new to them. And we expected that to be a declining percentage over time, and we check it every month. And sure as the sun comes up from the east, it comes out around 14 to 16% being completely new that we haven't seen in over 3 years of data that we've collected.
That's truly amazing.
That really is amazing. I have a quick question for you on that. Is that you finding people are doing more long tail searches, or is that across the board?
Exactly right. So we dug into this and we found 70% of all the queries, we define intent for all these keywords, and 70% of all these keywords are informational. They're really long tail informational. And then the way people search for the things changes as seasons change, depending on the country, depending on new products, new services, new things happening. News is actually a big driver of these kind of queries, where if something is in the news today, it'll be like the one-off query about what is in the news, and then it'll never happen again.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I was thinking because of the way Google kind of got people to change towards asking questions, that the long tail searches would just explode. So that's really interesting. That's a lot of data too. That's amazing that you were able to collect that much.
Were you planning to create a keyword tool 2 years ago when you started collecting clickstream data?
that was always the goal. The whole idea behind Clickstream was the enterprises need a replacement for Google Keyword Planner. And we could see the writing on the wall as it got progressively worse and became more aggressive with hiding search volume. It is a real problematic for SEOs not to have this data because that's so critical. So while our goal was to create this keyword true demand, there are a lot of other use cases that have emerged out of it. To Mark's point, the ability to see trending keywords that Google Keyword Planner won't even show for months in their data set because it's always a month and a half delayed in when they post their keyword data. But we have it every week. So that's opening up new use cases for our clients who want to be ahead with seasonality. For example, we just looked at this with a client yesterday. With Mother's Day coming up, we're already seeing searches for things that people are looking for related to Mother's Day right now, this year. For instance, there's a TikTok video about somebody who's created some Mother's Day craft, and it's exploding right now. And we're able to see that, and we're able to pass it to our clients and say, you may want to do something with this to take advantage of Mother's Day coming up.
So I'm curious, where do you get the Clickstream data, or is that like a secret that you can't reveal?
Well, it's proprietary data set. We are aggregating this data from multiple sources, from ISPs, from mobile cell phone providers, but it's all completely anonymized. There is no PII data. It's all just literally, here's the query somebody searched on Google in this country. So just that information and how many times that happens allows us to do all of these things.
So
the truth
really
is, once a
important.
week, Mitul meets a guy in a back alley somewhere in Chicago.
It's the DBOZ stuff, right?
So originally, in the early days of all this, and I'm sorry, I'm spacing on the name right now, but there was a company that had ISP data.
Jump Shot.
And no, before that, way before that.
Oh.
They used that data though. There was I don't know why I can't think of the name, but anyway, and there was very, very expensive data because it was all ISP. So I don't hear a lot about that lately. Mostly it's panel data, things like that. Can you explain the difference to people like ISP versus like panel data that other tools use?
Yeah, I think both are equally valid because they both do the same exact thing, but the collection methods differ and the accuracy differs and how large the data set can be differs. So the ISP data is directly from the ISPs. It's already anonymized. It's already just looking at a search on Google and strips the query parameter from the URL, and that's it, right? And how many times that happens. Panel data also includes demographics about users, and that is a little bit more iffy, the panel data, because you really need to know if somebody opted in or if this was malware running on their computer that may have tracked it. So you have to be very careful if you're using any kind of panel data that everything is lined up and on the up and up, which is why we like the PII, like the anonymized data better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, anyway, I just say, thank you for explaining that, because I don't know if people realize that there's a difference that we just say ISP data because it's not talked about. So thank you for that. And that's really important data to have. So I'm like getting more and more excited about all your releases. Jim, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, sure. I was going to jump us to Clarity 360, but if you got more on keywords, please go for it.
Well, not keywords specifically, but I think 360 is a different product. So just in general, from everything we just talked about, my clients hate G4. Like they're begging me to find them something other than G4. And I do know from a client that has internal people at Google, I'm just saying, like off the record, they were told that Google also knows it's not a good product. So with what you just released, it sounds like it's possible that a client, although you keep the G4 tagging because you need that, but can you use SEOClarity and get enough information from it to replace G4? Because that would make my clients really, really happy, because they just can't deal with the interface and the lack of data. And now to use G4, you basically have to be a data analyst. And, most of my clients barely have resources, let alone even in big companies, their SEO teams are like 3 people. So
it's so incredible. Google Analytics went from this super easy to get started with, super easy to start using, to this incredibly complex and overwhelming, platform with GA4. And we've heard exactly the same things that you're hearing from your clients. Our clients are coming to us and saying, we're afraid about matching our data between GA and GA4. We want to have continuity, but these reports don't make sense. The metrics seems like they're different. The data points, like we don't have bounces anymore. And what we've done is we've actually enabled clients to map both GA and GA4 into our platform. And then they can leverage all the same reports that they need for their SEO or now paid search or any other report, and have continuity. Because we translate all the complexity of changes that GA4 introduces back to what they are used to and make it simple in our platform.
Oh, that's great. And can you, I'm sorry, I might have just missed it. Can you or can you not import your other G4 data, like your old data, your UA data?
You can. So
oh
as
my
soon as you
gosh,
come
really?
in, you bring in all of your original universal GA data, whatever you, and then you pick a cutoff date, and then you integrate your GA4, and then the reports just look no different. They all line up, all of your metrics, everything just lines up, and you continue using it as if there's no difference.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I'm definitely going to have to check it out for my clients, because we couldn't find a good product that did continuity and, simulated the kind of same reports. So there were some smaller ones, but they just weren't big enough for the enterprise clients. So that's great to hear, because that's such a relief. My clients really, like, just last week was like, please get me off G4. I have to get off G4. So I appreciate that. Good to know.
That integration wasn't even part of our release week, but I'm glad you mentioned it, because it's such I think, a beautiful example of how, that came out of, you heard it from Mitul, literally listening to our clients on call after call after call saying, oh no, this GA4 thing, I took a look at it. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't know what to do with it. And we solved it. We said, bring it in. We'll make it all better. It'll all look the way it always did. We'll go in between for you and translate everything and bring it back. And it's just, it's kind of life-saving. But that's what we try to do, is just, we're listening to these real pain points and saying, like, if there's a way we can solve for that and make your life simpler on that, get you faster to what you actually want to do, we're going to do it.
That's great. So come in, we'll give you some cocoa, some hot chocolate, and and a donut. We'll make you not hate G4.
Tell you to breathe. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So we have first-rate traffic analysis, like super granular traffic analysis. We have one of the largest clickstream data sets for keyword analysis. Clarity 360, the world's first intelligence cloud. So what's happening in the cloud?
So there's a little backstory to this too, which is for years and years, SEO platforms have been bringing in different data sources. You think about an SEOClarity, and we bring in Search Console data from Google Search Console. We bring in site analytics, we bring in backlinks, we bring in rankings, we bring in all of these. We do site audits and server logs. We have all of these data sources, but they all sit in separate reports. And what we were hearing from clients is that they really want to be able to correlate these data points to each other and be able to understand the entire health, get the full landscape view of their site. So questions like, what are the pages that are in my sitemap that don't get any impressions or don't get any clicks? Or what are the pages that are known and crawled by Google, but are not accessible by crawlers on when or don't get any site analytics traffic to it, or not crawlable on my website itself because they're not linked from anywhere. They're orphan pages. These questions are incredibly hard to address because of these reporting silos. And what we spent the time to do is build a system that helps stitch together at a URL level for every URL that a client has, every single data point. So you take a URL that no matter what source it comes from, and then we append to it the Search Console, the site analytics, the bot requests, and the site, everything that we know and can find about it, and then give you an exploration tool. This is what we mean by the Intelligence Cloud. Literally any question on SEO that you have. Do lack of H1s hurt my site performance? You can answer that. What are the orphan pages on my site? You can answer that. What are the pages with high bot requests but low rankings? You can answer hundreds and hundreds of these questions that SEOs struggle with and know that they need to answer, but they just guess on right now.
That's but that almost, Christine and I are both like kind of speechless. That's wonderful. That's putting it all together in one place and being able to answer questions at a, again, I'm assuming super granular level. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Super granular. And this is what clients love about the Clarity platform, is the ability to slice, dice, and analyze billions and billions of rows of data in seconds. And that's what this is built for.
And that is so useful too, because all that data also gives you great, jumping points for strategy and for helping you find issues and where you're not meeting your customers' needs or you're not meeting search needs. So that's nice to have that all in one place. And go ahead, Mark.
And one of the things that I love that is just at the very top level. The first thing you see when you come into Clarity 360 is this kind of funnel view that's broken up into segments from known, which means everything we know is on your site, basically, to that which is being crawled, down to that which is indexed and showing up in search, down to that which is producing any traffic to your site, and then on down, if you've connected to this level, what's converting, whatever your conversion metrics are. And that produces a diminishing funnel. Of course, it's biggest at the top, everything that's known on your site, right? But not everything that's known is crawled. Not everything that's crawled is indexed, and so on down. So by the shape of this funnel, you can immediately spot, here's the biggest bottleneck, literally, in our site right now. Say that you've got like a bunch of your pages are crawled, like a high percentage of your pages are crawled. That's awesome. But a small percentage of those, like the funnel goes way down and indexed, we got to look at that. Why are these pages being crawled but not getting in the index? So starting from right from the top level, you get this, a view that you can't get anywhere else. Nobody's ever seen this before without downloading tons of data from 15 different sources and then using incredible computer power and probably crashing whatever program they're using to try to analyze it.
We were marveling.
Valuable. Go ahead.
We were marveling a few moments ago about how much data is available. And it actually sort of got me thinking for a second and made me a little nervous because the old adage, sometimes a little bit of knowledge can be really, really dangerous in the wrong hands. I work with teams that cross the entire office strata, from marketing to devs to designers, and they don't all need the same information. In fact, giving some of these people the wrong information might be a very dangerous thing, bless their hearts. How are you able to segment who gets what and when and why?
Yeah, as an enterprise tool, fine-grained access control. You can choose exactly which users on your account have access to at what level to which reports and which analysis tools. So you could say this Clarity 360 is limited just to you. And you don't want anybody else on the team to have access to or start poking around.
I'm not trying to hoard information or anything. I'm just trying to, protect the castle here.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, you can then add it to your dashboards with specifically insights you do want them to share and act upon, rather than opening up the data ocean to everyone, right?
And it's also, I'm joking a little. Like nobody's going to destroy anything with information, but they might be overwhelmed and not understand it. And
it's easy to get drowned. It's easy to drown in a data ocean. You really need to know how to swim.
So say you have a product manager of a certain product. It's entirely possible and easily doable in SEOClarity to set up their profile, their account, so that they can log into SEOClarity and all they're going to see is just the information about their product line, their product category. They're not, wandering off into anything else. They're not, seeing anything they don't need to, or no rabbit holes. So, you have that kind of granular control to make it super useful. So you can open it up to people who will be edified by the information that they can get without overwhelming them or confusing them.
Right on. Okay, speaking of confusing them, we should move to Clarity Automate, the link optimizer, because I think for many SEOs, especially newer ones, links and internal link structure isn't as well understood as it used to be, I think again, this is something I think that SEOs really need to concentrate on, is how a website is structured and designed, and how links relate to page and to each other. what does Clarity Optimate Link Optimizer do, and how does it do it?
So we did a survey. You're absolutely right. Internal linking architecture is so often overlooked. But when we surveyed SEOs, we thought initially our hypothesis was that people just don't credit it with the importance that they should. Everybody thinks about external backlinks, but not internal links, which can be so powerful. And what our survey revealed was over 60% of 1,000+ enterprise SEOs that we surveyed said internal linking was incredibly important to them. But a follow-up question showed that less than 10% of those were actually doing it. And the reason was it's just too complicated. To figure out on your own site what to link to, where to link from, and what anchor text to use is an incredibly data-intensive process that requires data scientists on client side. And then even if you manage to implement it, maintaining it and refreshing it so that it matches kind of your changes on your site, and your site's a living thing, is nearly impossible. So rather than undertake this Herculean task, they just choose not to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's problematic. It's such a powerful technique that is completely under your control. You can control it, you can change it, you can control your destiny with it, but SEOs don't do it because it's just too complicated.
The last couple of years, there's been the philosophy of just, put the products at root level and let Google sort it out.
It really is. And that is such a hard thing to get. I'm sorry, it is a hard thing to get done because the teams you have to get involved to get it done. So you have to get the content people and often the dev people, and those two never talk. And because I try to do this internally, and I've noticed the last couple of years, Google's really amped up the weight of internal linking for helping it to determine relevancy and topical structures. But like Jim said, also a lot of them just stick it on the root now, which is another problem to be talked about. But I do think that is such a helpful thing that it does for people. So I just appreciate hearing about it.
Yeah, and what's really exciting about this for us is the use of the natural language processing and machine learning that we've built up over the years using our content fusion and our content related developments. We're bringing all of that to bear here to understand true semantic relationships. So it's not just us saying, oh, just link to this from this. It's truly our algorithms are determining what pages on the site are topically clustered, are topically similar, and then finding what is the relationship between them currently and how can that be improved using internal links. So it's a self-managing algorithm that we've developed here. We measure everything and we monitor and tweak the internal linking based on the results that we see coming back, all through this automation platform, which we call Clarity Automate.
Do you guys ever take requests for case studies?
We do. We actually require every single client on Clarity Automate is required to be a case study client.
Well, if you can prove the validity of well thought out link structure or site structure, I would so deeply appreciate it.
We'll send you 5. Over the last year, we've collected 5 individual case studies on all of this in development, even before we released it in public, of the impact of internal linking. And it's incredible.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And part of that's built into the platform. I mean, the users can do it themselves because, as I said at the beginning, this is a soup to nuts internal link. It not only uses AI machine learning technologies Mitul was talking about to recommend your best opportunities. What should be linking to what, but then of course using Clarity Automate technology allows you to we got it set up. Click the button, it's live. Those links are there now, visible to search engines and the public. And then keeps track of all those links to analyze. This is where the case study comes in. The case study is being built for you automatically because you have a segment now in the platform where you can track and see the progress, see how that affects the traffic to your site, your rankings, all the other things. So yeah, it creates its own case studies. It's great.
That's awesome. I think you need to give a class on how you get every client to let you do that, because most of mine, I can't even mention their names, but that's another time. But yeah. I do have a question. You said you click it and it's implemented. So is this a case where you're using Edge SEO to add the links, or is it another implementation?
Yeah. So Edge SEO is part of the solution for us, but it's not the only option. So you may recall we acquired a company called RankSense last year to boost our Edge SEO efforts. And it's part of this solution, which is clients can choose to integrate our solution on their server side through a middleware. They can choose to integrate it with an API that we provide, or they can choose an edge solution, either through JavaScript or through Akamai or any CDN that they work with. So as an enterprise platform, we provide all of the integration options, whatever clients are comfortable with.
Sorry, I apologize for interrupting. There's a little lag in my headphones. So can you, because I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Edge SEO, could you briefly just describe to people what Edge SEO is?
Sure. So Edge SEO is talking about this general concept where changes to your site and your pages are made on the edge, which would be at a content delivery network like an Akamai or a Cloudflare, and not through your CMS. So whatever is on your CMS stays, but when the page is transmitted to the end user, during its transmission to the end user, the cloud, the delivery network or the CDN can right there make the change to the page on the fly before delivering it to the end user. And that tends to overcome any limitations that your CMS may have of implementation, any limitations you may have of resources to be able to implement changes, because it separates those two out.
So you're saying, as an SEO, if it's implemented, I no longer have to go to the devs and get them on board and fall into their rollout plan to get something done, which means it could take 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, because they have much bigger priorities at that time. So we're kind of lessening the load on dev, and we're able to move faster in getting those changes made.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, I think we're rounding into the last 10 minutes of the show, and one of the more interesting releases, Friday's release, the Research Grid API. We haven't touched that yet, and I think a lot of people in our audience are going to find this particularly useful. You're giving, as to quote your website, SEOClarity's data services offering unfettered access to a deep ocean of keyword and URL metrics. What's Research Grid API?
So over the last 7+ years, we've been collecting data every month on 500 million keywords across 90+ countries. This data forms the foundation of our own machine learning models, our content models, what we know about the internet, who's winning, who's losing. And we expose this to our clients in our platform so they can go and do keyword research, competitive landscape research. They can build large models of what their industry's landscape looks like. But all of this had always only been available through the UI. And for the first time, what we did was we opened up the API, because clients were coming to us and they wanted to do the same things that our platform allows, but at a much, much larger scale. They wanted to do it programmatically. They wanted to download all of the keywords that every one of their 1,000 competitors ranked for and build their own machine learning models, or look at their competitive trends and landscape changes across 500 million keywords. That's what the API enables. It's really built for the data scientists, the engineers, the programmatic SEOs, the SEOs trying to build new pages programmatically, and empower them with very fresh data that is just not available anywhere else.
There's a crew of SEOs, primarily in Western Europe, who are doing extraordinary things with AI. They're taking programming interfaces like yours and merging them with AI, and it's mind-blowing. This is stuff that we couldn't even conceive of just a year ago, because this technology wasn't publicly available. Are you open to that kind of stuff? Are you open to people taking your API and messing with it?
We're not. There are definitely lots of terms of use. This is not for spamming. And we have very clear terms of use that prevent this kind of thing from just creating spam content at scale. This is built for the enterprises who are looking to really add value to their customers, identify gaps that they have against their competition at scale, and then be able to leverage that or all the data that we collect to build machine learning models of their own that can help them. So yes, this is open to the world, but there is terms of use that we are very careful. We don't want this to become the spammers, the next spammers link farm or the spammers content farm.
Did you guys actually think about that when you were planning the release, that people might grab onto it and use it nefariously?
Funnily enough, I started my life as a direct marketer, and way back in 2004, I ran my own data feed affiliate sites. So I may be a little privy to those kind of ideas.
The ethical hacker, you mean?
Sure.
If you heard of data feed sites in the past, boy, those were good days.
So you're talking about, when you've used the phrase enterprise SEO dozens of times in this interview. This is large scale companies.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So I'm so glad you bring it up. We think about an enterprise as any company that, of course, has scale problems. Any company. It doesn't have to be a 1,000-person plus employee company. It's a problem of scale that we can help structure and simplify. So if you think about scale, it's any company that has, more than 100,000 pages on their site. Very easily, that becomes a scale problem to be able to address optimization at that level. It gets even worse if you have 10, 20, 50 million. Number of our clients, on average, our clients will have about 1 million plus pages on their site. A number of our clients will have 100 million plus pages. The things that you have to do at that scale, the data analysis that you have to do, the tools ability to leverage that kind of data and be able to return results for you, all of that comes into account, and that's where we excel. Not to say that if you have a 1,000-page website, we can't help you, but that's really not our target. It's you're better suited with there's a lot of tools that can help you if you're a 1,000-page website.
Yeah, that's definitely a question that will be asked. Is there an option for smaller clients? And you say your average is 100,000 plus. I'm sorry, a million URLs
million
on their website.
On average,
how to say this? It's many of our listeners are frustrated when it comes to trying to help smaller businesses. And that's not to say that's SEOClarity's mission or goal, but is there a way a smaller company, say a 100,000 or less URL website, could make use of SEOClarity without breaking the bank or getting more information than actually there's no amount of information as much information you can get is necessary.
Yeah. Look, our end objective is to make clients successful. We're a bootstrap company. The only thing that matters to us is making clients successful, and if they're successful, they renew with us, right? Yep. Super simple success model for us: make clients successful. As a result of that, what we look at is every client every prospect that reaches out to us, we want to understand how we can help them before we even talk about what we need to charge them, right? If SEO is important for you and it's a big part of your business, and you may not have the 1 million pages, you may have 100,000 pages, but if there are challenges in there that we are uniquely suited to help you, we absolutely will figure out how to work with you and will not break the bank. We're never going to be the cheapest, but we're never going to be the most expensive solution. But for the value that you get, we want you to absolutely feel like you couldn't have gotten it anywhere else.
That's really good to hear. I have a client right now who I was thinking this would be a great product for, but they're more in the 100,000 page range. So yeah, so I will have them talk to you guys.
Awesome.
But the data capability, there really has to be a word for that, data capability or something. The data capability that SEOClarity has is phenomenal. Breaking the GA4 trap is a major mitzvah, and I think the entire SEO world is going to thank you for that. Being able to take all those traffic sources, mix and match them, get some very actionable data, Again, at the hyper granular level. All of this stuff is only available in your package. And that's exciting. SEOClarity.net. Again, our apologies for not having you guys on 2 or 3 weeks ago when it was actually release week. I'd blame those guys over at OpenAI. If you're ever at a conference and you see them. Actually, if you're ever at a conference and you see the folks from OpenAI or one of those companies, are you talking to them?
We have a number of really exciting things in the works.
Okay, excellent. We are almost gone all the way around the clock, and as always, I have it's always the last few minutes is when the questions just start to want to pour out, and we're gonna have to invite you back again. Hopefully sooner than an entire year passing. But Mitul, Ghandi, and Mark Traphagen from SEOClarity, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with us on Webcology today.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, always a joy, Jim. And Christina, great questions. You ask the questions that your users are going to be thinking about, and that's what we love to hear. That's what drives us. So.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Mitul and Mark, again, thank you guys so much. I told you those guys are fun to have on, eh?
I knew they would be. Yeah, and it's great to learn all about those releases, because it really makes it just an exciting product, and that G4 solution is going to be major for people. So,
if Google was smart, and we know they're listening, like honestly, there's G4 is a dog. That's just the way it is. If Google was smart, they'd be taking a lesson from Clarity and finding better ways to present the data that but Google's not going to take that lesson. They're just not.
no,
Guarantee it.
Well, I was told that they were forced to meet these deadlines that they had, regardless of the state of the product. But I could say that since they let the people who pay get another year before they roll it out, why don't they do that for the rest of us?
They probably will, but they're not going to. They're going to say anything until the very last second. Eh?
Yeah, well, now they're offering to optimize it, install it for you.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I read it was a very, very bad idea from someone who knows that stuff.
Well, I was going to say that's often just as scary as doing it wrong yourself.
Exactly.
But you know what? There's some people out there in the SEO community. I think my former business partner, Alan Kneck, is an example, who are legit experts in setting up your analytics accounts. And this is the data that runs your website and runs your world. So you need to know it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, if you're messing with masses of data, the high-level solution, the enterprise solution, is probably the smarter way to go. We missed a couple of stories that we wanted to touch on. There was a number of announcements that came out of Google today. Site name, favicon, and sponsored labels are now available on desktop search as well as mobile. They've been experimenting back since November on mobile search.
Yeah.
So your SERPs are going to look a lot busier. But hopefully, you know what? Maybe it'll be attractive. If you have a really cool favicon, that'll attract eyes. That's a good way to. The favicon is the new description, you see.
Yes, although one real quick thing, I have noticed that lately the pages are devoid of a lot of the rich features, even knowledge panels. So a lot of my searches are like the blue links and PAA. So it's interesting. They're going through some changes. It looks like. That
goes. Lastly, Google Trend has a couple new features and a new look in 2023. Don't got time to really dive into it, but please go check it out, trends.google.com. It's a great way to figure out how people feel about specific terms against another term over time or like right now. And then it's definitely an essential step in good keyword research. Kristine, you got anything to add?
No, I think we covered it all. So, or at least all we could get into an hour.
It was a fun show. Covered a lot of ground. Okay, on behalf of Kristine Schachinger from Sites Without Walls, this is Jim Hedger from Digital Always Media. You've been listening to Webcology on WMR.fm on the recorded live to podcast on the 9th of March, 2023. Stick around for more great stuff streaming on the network. Be well, be kind to each other, rank well, use smart tools, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.
This week at Macy's, discover great deals on spring updates for you and your home. Refresh your look with Michael Kors handbags, shoes, and more, $250 and under. Get 50 to 70% off suits, blazers, and pants for him. And shop select great value small appliances, $99.95 and under. Plus, get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today at Macy's. Details at macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
The all-new Nissan Ariya is a fully loaded EV. It's brimming with style and power.
Up to 389 horses of it.
Innovation and intelligence.
E-Force all-wheel drive.
It'll pin you to your seat.
Your very plush seat.
The all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with E-Force expect availability early 2023. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. E-Force and 389 horsepower available on Platinum Plus. Nissan calculation using 1-foot rollout testing with long-range battery and E-Force only in sport mode with E-Step off. These results are for comparison only and should not be attempted on public roads. Drive responsibly. See nissanusa.com for details.